referred to what prompted our next question earlier. The recent compromise on the extension of the payroll tax credit is seen by many as a very poor deal. We are told by House leaders they felt compelled to give in based on, quote, being killed by the polls driven by unfair reporting, end quote. Some have coined the phrase the Diane Sawyer effect. How can you assure voters that you will resist the effect of media pressure? Michael Truncale.
Well, you go back to the very premise. A representative is someone elected by the people to represent the people in that district. Frankly, I do not care what the Houston Chronicle or a paper that in the New York Times or some television station has to say about what I'm doing in Washington, D.C. on your behalf. All that matters to me is what you think. I live in this district. I've lived in this district most of my life. And I'm going to be here for you every time I'm back, listening to you, meeting with you, and taking your ideas to Washington. And as long as you're happy, then that's all that matters to me. So that is the purpose behind my role as a congressman. Remember, the three most important words in the United States Constitution are found in the preamble. They are "we the people." And while we're talking about the Constitution, we must also remember the 10th Amendment, which means that the power should be in the hands of the people and the states, and only limited powers in the hands of the federal government. Thank you.
Tim Day.
That's why I'm a statesman and not a career politician. A statesman fixes complex government issues. A career politician, he do what's best to get him elected. I'm not running to get elected 2 terms, 3 terms. I'm running to get elected to go get all money now. If I get elected a second term, then I get elected a second term. So it doesn't matter what the newspaper and media print about me. Plus, I'm a part of the media. I know what they do. I know the tactics and all the good things that they do. My publicist, Mike Marlowe, can tell you. We know. I'm a statesman. I will deal with complicated situations. Believe me, everybody paying attention to my pledge about going to go get our money back from the Iraq government. That is a major, serious pledge. It's serious. It is the most serious thing right now on the table. Going to go back and recoup that money. It can be up to $2 trillion.
Thank you. I've been asked to read the question one more time. The recent compromise on the extension of the payroll tax credit is seen by many as a very poor deal. We are told by House leaders they felt compelled to give in based on, quote, being killed by the polls driven by the unfair reporting, end quote. Some have coined the phrase the Diane Sawyer effect. How can you assure voters you will resist the effect of media pressure? The next person to speak is Robert Gonzalez.
When I started my campaign back in August, I made one pledge to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I said, I will do everything in a righteous manner. So, because I made that pledge to my Lord, I am not going to be bound by the media or popular sticking my finger in the air and see which way the prevailing winds are flowing. You ever wonder why Barack Hussein Obama is willing to raise the taxes of all you guys that are makers in America, but cut payroll taxes? Does that make sense? They're cutting payroll taxes, and the payroll taxes is what pays the Social Security. Why would we do that? Does that make sense? Because I came from a tyrannical government. I was born there. I know that what he is doing is he is actually going in there and trying to destroy the fabric of this country. The Social Security is an entitlement program that was promised to those who have been paying it for the last 40, 50 years. He is actually trying to destroy that. Let me tell you, what we have to do is we have to do what's right. We have to make sure that America is going in the path of righteousness. Thank you.
Bill Sargent.
I think I answered the question when I did my opening statement, and that is that when I go to Washington, my purpose will be to represent you and to have integrity and to live up to that integrity and not step over that line. Bottom line is that I'm willing to take on the Republican leadership if necessary. Because if it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, it's right. Do what's right. Don't do what's wrong. Don't step over that line. As soon as you step over that line, you've lost all credibility. And you have no... I got to face myself in the mirror every day, just like the rest of you all do. And I'm not willing to take that step.
Bill.
I know we're running short on time. The reality is there's a certain freedom that comes with knowing that you're staying true to your values and your beliefs. And if you're honest with yourself, then you're honest with all of the other people in the room. And you don't worry about what the media has to say. If you go to our website, I hope you will. It's just jold.com. I've published several newsletters already. Some of them have been pretty controversial. I'm already ready to stand up. As a lawyer, living in a community that favors the other side for the most part over my career, it's changing now. I've learned how to fight the tough battles, how to keep my integrity, how to win without cheating, without playing fast and loose with the rules. And we did it with integrity and credibility, and frankly, again, a lot of hard work. And that's how I'm able to keep friends while fighting against people who have different interests. And that's what you need. You need a credible spokesperson and advocate. Thank you.
Commissioner Harris.
Well, the last time I've checked how these elections are run, it's the people in this room that are going to elect their next congresswoman. And if the liberal media doesn't like how we all believe our government should be run, then they need to step aside, in my view. For the last 13 years, I've been representing individuals and employers and employees in very difficult, sometimes bet the company kind of matters. And in many instances, I've had to step aside and put my own views on the wayside because it's my client's view in that instance that mattered the most. And in this instance, it's your view that matters the most. It doesn't matter to me what the liberal media believes about any of the issues. What matters is what's best for this district. What's best for Americans who live, who work, who pray, who entertain themselves, who die in this district. It's about us, not about the liberal media. And I'm willing to go fight for you just like I've fought for the last 13 years for what's right. And I've learned how to be a voice not only in the public sector, but also in the boardroom, so I'm able to negotiate with others and to get a compromise that makes sense for us if necessary. But I'm also willing to fight, and I'll fight for you.
What you're really talking about is caving into pressure. I've proven in my stint in the legislature that when it came time for the speaker's race and my district wanted me to de-pledge from the speaker, I had that conversation with him. I did the hard thing. Let me just tell you, I know how to fix Congress. One of the ways that we fix Congress is we make every law that they make apply to us. I love being in the Texas legislature because we come back and we live under the laws, the people that we have to face. If you cave, you face those constituents every day. I love being a Texas legislator. My first session, I sat right in front of the cameras on the outside rail, and I was the lone vote on a number of bills. And I got interviewed by the Austin American-Statesman, the Houston Chronicle. I have been written about, blogged about, talked about. I've gotten hate mail. I said, you know what, it doesn't matter because I represent the finest district in the world, and I will do that for you in Congress. I come home to my district, I remember who it is I represent and who it is I sleep with, that pretty gal over there at that table. She won't let me get away with much. Thank you all very much.
John Gates.
If anybody cavalierly says that peer pressure doesn't affect them, it does. It affects them, it affects their family. You know, my wife probably takes it harder than I do. And I've gotten a lot of hate email. I've had probably 3 dozen signs stolen around the district. You know, and I know what it is to have the media lie about you. I'm willing to stand no matter what. I've never gone along my entire life. I've never gone along to get along. I didn't do it in high school. I didn't do it in college. I do what's right because I have duty. And as a veteran, I understand that duty. And I have several times had my life put in jeopardy. But it's one thing when you put your life in jeopardy to save a life, and you know that you'll get accolades. It's another thing when you do the right thing and know that you're going to be blasted for it. But if we are no longer the home of the brave, we soon won't be the land of the free. And I promise you I will be brave, and I will stand fast, and I will do my duty and represent you properly.